Well, as it would appear, I seem to be the only one in here right now. Still waiting, of course, that goat to show up. Um, Hopefully, he'll get here soon. Um, in fact, I'm gonna just go ahead and start. All right, looks like I lucked out there. We're getting that up and ready, so we just gotta wait for my co-host, or at least some people, to come in and want to watch this. Who always seems he's on the beam, Yogi Bear. Okay. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish when I eat my spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish when I eat my spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Wah, wah, ah. Let's see now. 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Anyways. Alley-oop, 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 alley-oop. Hmm. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever see. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever see. Mm. Stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere. Breathe underwater and go flying through the air. The lonely submariner, prince of the deep, he'll beware deadly demons. Lord Namor of Atlantis is the prince of the deep. Oh, hey, Batgoat. All right, I'm late. Just got in. Um, did you get my message earlier? I sent you the link earlier. I'll check. Emailed it to you probably about a couple hours ago. Excuse me a sec here. There you are. Hey, Batgoat.
Hello, good evening, sir. Hang on 1 second.
Right.
Okay, all right.
I got the page all set up just in case I was gonna have to do it all alone tonight.
Mike, I'm sorry. I literally just walked in the door. I went out to go see. I was out at my daughter's. Go see my grandson again because the the jerk governor here in Minnesota is pulling his. We got a lockdown, a half-ass lockdown coming up. So I was like, let me come over before it takes effect. So
Oh, you guys
technically,
have okay. Well, we here have like an overnight curfew. It's like you can't be out 10 a.m. to 5 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
yeah, yep, they're doing that. But they also said you're not supposed to have people over at your house that aren't, that don't live there. And most everyone here in Minnesota is like, that's bogus. Like, we're not going to follow We're not going to follow those rules.
Well, I've already heard, at least in some states, like in New York, there have already been some sheriffs who've come out and said, "Hey, no, we're not enforcing the Thanksgiving rules and all that." So,
I think we're going to
and
see that throughout the country is that a lot of places they're just not going to enforce these stupid
well,
rules.
they're unconstitutional. First off,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. But yeah, so I ran out. I did get to go see my grandson. I left my glasses there, so this is my last pair of readers that I have now. I need to be careful with these.
yeah. Yeah, even though
But
even though I gave everybody like a fair warning that they still end up showing up late.
yeah, yeah, you know how we all are. We're goofballs like that.
Yeah, excuse me a moment
But,
while I go off camera.
okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little more unique like that in terms of, you know, I'm um I'm probably like the only streamer who actually does start on time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I say I'm starting at 7, I'm starting at 7. You know.
That's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to be punctual and consistent.
Yeah, the only thing is I think people are so used to streamers not being consistent like that
Mm-hmm.
that so now like now I understand anonymity. He's getting off work. He doesn't get off work, and can't get in here till half hour into the
True.
show. But I don't
True.
think. But it doesn't. What doesn't really strike me that anybody else should have that much of an excuse to be this. Be 15, 20 minutes late. Even though I do wait for people to get in
Mm-hmm.
before I'll start doing my content. You know, Still though would be nice if people. I mean, I do know
Well,
there are some
I know.
people who on some of the streams, some people will come in actually even before the stream starts and will like usually be chatting it up before the.
Hmm.
You got some? What are you looking at there?
I'm going to mute while I plug my computer in. So I'm listening to you.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
all right. Yeah, yeah. I guess we'll just wait a few minutes here till see if we can get some more people in here. So that Now I gotta go out. I can't. Hmm. Yeah, I was just finishing off my soda here.
Okay.
Went out, went out a little while ago. Went up to the store to. Um, yeah, well, even here in California where I'm at, there area. I mean, granted, we are predominantly a very blue state, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we have some areas that are, basically are more conservative and do believe in the Constitution. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, so um, anyways, where have you been the last couple of days? By the way.
Well, we got this lockdown coming up. So Wednesday night on trivia, I actually stayed. I stayed at the bar because they're my friends and they have to close for a month. You know what I'm saying? So I
Oh,
was hanging out with them. Um, it's painful. Like a lot of lives are getting screwed up here. So yeah, unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunately. Like that's what I was doing. I was hanging out with with my friends because they own this bar and then yesterday I think I was just feeling like crap, so I'm sorry about that. But then and then tonight, like I
well,
said, I was.
we actually, I think over the last few days, we actually, if anything, I had more cartoon news I was actually talking about than comic
Oh,
news.
oh, bummer. That's my thing.
Yeah,
That's
there are there are a few interesting stories that came out over the last couple of days, and a sad one that came out yet. Well, it was reported yesterday, but it happened on Wednesday. I know this name probably wouldn't mean as much to you because I know you don't watch as much anime, or at least more recent anime. But Vancouver-based voice actor Kirby Morrow passed away Wednesday at the age of 47.
Oh wow, that's a
He,
bummer to hear.
yeah, um, he was probably his most well-known roles for most people include um, he was the voice of Scott Summers' Cyclops in X-Men Evolution,
Okay,
which came out in like 2000. Um, he was the English voice of Moroku from Inuyasha. Um, let's see. He was the voice of Goku in Ocean Dubs of DBZ, Dragon Ball Z. And then
that's
he was also Croa Barton from Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, among other things. I think he also was the lead in Vision of Escaflowne as well.
well.
So,
Those are all big anime shows. So I mean, that's
yeah.
he's
Well, X Men Evolution was an anime that was Western animation, but those are
okay.
basically the ones that he is most well known for. So,
Okay.
but
Wow, that's a
they haven't released what the cause of death was yet.
okay.
Also, an interesting bit of comics news that I saw. I think it was yesterday. Dark Horse Comics. Dark Horse Comics apparently is coming out with a comic book called, I guess, The Legend of Ninkasi or something like that. Um, get this. It's a comic about brewers, and I think you would have loved this story if you had a chance to hear about it. About brewers in medieval times, um, basically trying to defeat the evil of bad tasting beer.
I love it. That's that's a great concept. I'm totally on board with that.
Apparently Dark Horse got some kind of, I guess they got kind of some kind of partnership with a beer company or something like that, and they decided to produce, publish a comic about it or something like that.
Oh, that's funny. I love it.
Yeah,
I
it
love
was.
it.
I was like, yeah, it was pretty hilarious when I was looking at it.
You know, I like my beer.
Yeah. Well,
Not today.
also, up until I found out about Kirby Morrow's death, I think yesterday's story, I think it was the first time in a while where they were more like happy, funnier stories as opposed to like just dumping on SJWs or whatever. Because let's
Yeah.
see, a couple of days ago, um, I guess some of the voice actors from Animaniacs did an interview about the reboot that's coming to Netflix.
Okay.
Um, and then there were a couple of Iron Man stories that I went through too. First one from a couple of days ago was about why things changed from the first season to the second season, and then also there was a story yesterday in it um, about, I guess they were thinking about having Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, and Julia Carpenter, aka Spider Woman, getting married on the show. And get this one because now I probably was picking up more from comic book review CBR over the last couple of days, few more stories from them because bounding in the comics doesn't seem to always have as many stories coming out as quickly there. But
Mhm.
but okay, so according to this one, I can't even remember the guy's name off the top of my head now, but I went through. I mean, you can always go back and look over the stream yesterday, over the past couple of days because I keep them
Okay.
up. But okay, first up, back in the early '80s, did you watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay, so apparently, according to this one writer,
I didn't watch any of the classic superhero stuff from the '80s. I told you, I was Smurfs, He-Man. Other than He-Man, I was everyday He-Man watcher. So my taste
Yeah,
is
well,
always
yeah,
a little off.
Spider-Man is Amazing Run. I can't think came out like 81, 82. I
Okay.
watched it growing up, but
When did GI
uh,
Joe come out?
GI Joe came out. I think it was like 85. I think 84 or 85 around there.
Okay. All right.
But here's the funny thing about this particular article. This guy claimed that Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was the horniest cartoon ever.
What?
Yeah, I am not lying to you. It's kind of,
They're so weird.
I'm
They're
like
weird
thinking
people.
it was funny because they okay. I know you didn't watch the cartoon. I did. So it was a kids' cartoon, but of course, the main protagonist, of course, Peter Parker as Spider Man, and then you had two X Men who he partnered up with: Bobby Drake, Iceman, and Angelica Jones, Firestar. Okay, and this guy got hung up on all the supposed romantic entanglements of the show, how they were going off from like one relationship to another, all that, and the thing though that I don't think the guy kind of missed there was they were okay. So Peter, Angelica, and Bobby in this particular series were being depicted as typical college students doing typical college student stuff, aside from, of course, the superhero stuff. That
Okay.
means going to party. That means going out on dates. But the way this guy was trying to make it like they were, even though he acknowledged that there wasn't anything like overly risque about it, but it's like, oh, it's the horniest cartoon ever.
Well, that's just silly.
I went through the article yesterday, so if
Okay.
you want to, if you have a chance, you want to go back and watch yesterday's stream, and and just, I mean, I was even laughing my rear end off.
Okay.
I was LMAO, and yeah. So basically, what I would, for tonight, I was, basically trying to go through February of 1936. Depending upon how early we started, I was thinking of trying to get into March of 1936 as well, because February only has 3 comics. Oh, it looks like somebody else just came in. I see 3 people now,
Okay.
but we won't know who. So, yeah, but basically, so it only had, depending upon how early, but now we're like 23 minutes into it. So I may just do. I was gonna think about doing March as well, but March has like 7, but we're already like almost we're like 23 minutes into this, so um, we got at least one other person now in here. So I may give it till between 25 and 30 minutes, and we'll see. Then I'll probably get started on it. But hey, Woody,
Hey, Woody.
fat goat, da 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 da, fat goat, da 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 da. Yes, it. And then what would Woody do back in '62? Driving in his car, drinking in the bars, playing all the games, picking up. Woody do? What would Woody do?
Yeah,
Yeah, Woody, I was just getting.
I got my
Oh, go
haircut
ahead,
today.
Becky.
Got my haircut today. Just, I panicked. Like
Uh,
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear one of the stipulation rules is that the barber shops are going to stay open through this lockdown, but they're shutting down the restaurants and certain gyms. So I was like,
uh-huh.
oh my god, I need to get my haircut today. So it's been like since July. So I noticed that, like, my kids were saying that too. They're like, wow, Dad, that looks good, and your mustache looks huge now that your hair's short again.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Oh,
Man,
like your
I don't
stream's
know what
hiccuping.
happened there. But anyways, well, at least we're back.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, you're buffering pretty bad right now.
What was that back up?
You're buffering pretty bad.
Is that a little better?
Yeah, seems okay right now.
Yeah, I just on my I just went over to the YouTube page and a YouTube window and hit the hit the kind of I don't reset or button or whatever.
Yeah.
Now we have 4 people in here, so that's good. So now we're getting some more people in here. Um, okay, that's usually one of the things I would have like just shut the camera off for, but um, so let's see, we're at 26:30. Oh, now we're down to 3 again. Boo. All right, well, I guess I'd better get started here then.
Yeah, yeah. Get into it.
Okay, so there we go. There it is. Okay, so as you notice, there are three comics here, and then you go to the next month. There's like 5 of them there. So or 6 of them rather. But we had gotten if we had gotten started like right away, like right at 7, I would probably try to do both months. But since we're getting in, or since we're starting up half hour into it, I'm just gonna go ahead just do the February here.
Okay.
So so yeah, basically so we're February 1936. Still in the midst of the depression. We're like so we're having to look at how you know how people are like dealing. They call it the Great Depression for a reason. They're obviously everybody, most of the family is having to work in some form or another. They need some kind of escapism. You have right here New Comics and Popular Comics number 3. And um, so, let's see. So here, New Comics number 3, which, publisher is DC. One under one of its earlier names, of course, National Allied Newspaper Syndicate Incorporated. Went on sale February 1st, 1936. 10 cents, and this was an 80-page book here, 80-page publication here. And
Okay.
let's see how many stories we have here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So you have 20 and Federal Men. I'm probably one of the ones I'll read in like I'll probably at least read some selections from each book here since there's only 3 of them. I was thinking of just doing just the Famous Bunnies one because that was the 20th issue, so that'd be like a milestone issue. But like 27, so 27 stories here in a let's see, feature called Captain Bill. Okay, so this is Captain Jim of the Texas Rangers, 2 pages. Feature called Captain Bill of the Rangers. This was a short-lived series, a serial series here. Captain Jim of the Texas Rangers, of course, a little bit of a action adventure one.
Mm-hmm.
Don Don Coyote, I think I explained that one a bit last week. 2 pages there. You have a 1-page Jimmy Jones story is Billy the Kid. Like, and you'll see reprinted in New Book of Comics number 119, and we'll get into that a little later. That's like more towards the end of the year, 2 pages. But you notice in this one, you have a bunch of them that are like now getting up to like 2 pages. Um, since these are more, some of them are written serially, like as a series, but a lot of these are written episodically as well. Where they can blend 17 to 20 on the block. That was one of the more serial ones. Yeah, I don't think. Okay, so I think the only one that might have a summary is Federal Men. So maybe I should have just gone and done that one instead. Because a lot of these are like more slice of life or humor things. The 4 page right now. Okay. Let's see now. So just to kind of also give you an idea of the types of stories they are. Oh wait. Now, of course, new comics here would eventually become adventure comics. It would, for the first 11 issues, it was called New Comics, and then from issues 12 to 31, it was called New Adventure Comics, and from 32 on, it was called Adventure Comics.
Toys just dropped in and said hi.
Hey, ATC, thank you for letting me know. Sometimes when I'm
Hello,
on some
sir.
of those other, hello everyone. Sorry I'm late. I was out with my wife. Yeah, I understand. It's like Friday night, and hi, Mike. Hey, ATC. And then
Did,
Batgoat, he's saying hi to you as well there.
yeah, I was telling Mike I came in late too because I was over at my kids. My kids live. It's about an hour drive from where I live, so went over there this afternoon, and then I told him I'm like I gotta go, you guys, and I told him about the show, and so I I thought I would make it with some time to spare, but I was about what 5 minutes late there, Mike.
yeah. I mean 5 to 10, but you got here, so that's good. So you told your family about about the show here.
Yeah, I told my kids, and they were like, "Oh, that's cool." And so um, I'll make
Are they
sure
into comics?
I'll get them to. No, no, they're regular millennials.
Huh.
They're not bad, but they're regular millennials, just kids. In fact, my son-in-law doesn't play video. He's not a gamer to the point of like never even they. He grew up without having a console in his house and never playing video games, which to me is like such a foreign, weird concept.
So yeah, so there's under on this side it's listed under adventure comics because it's what it would eventually become. But here's from February 1st of 1936, new comics just kind of show you what it looks like here. Uh, AOC, AOC, and how.
Well, boo, AOC is bad.
Well, the AOC of today. I don't.
I
I don't.
know. I
Yeah.
know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, did you hear something? Did you hear what she's calling for? She and some
Reprogramming.
of yeah.
It's. I mean, it's obviously never going to happen. So the more she does that, the
Oh,
stupider she sounds. And
oh yeah. I mean, you think about it. She was calling for it. There's a guy out here in California who's also calling for for Trump supporters to be put into re-education camps.
Yeah, and that's literally fascism and what the Nazis did. Like that's
It's
just
kind
not going
yeah.
to
The
happen.
ironically hypocritical thing is about it is that's what they're accusing Trump of doing.
I know, I know. They're delusional people.
Yeah, but anyways, but here's a example that Captain Bill of the Ranger story. See, kind of the kind of a Western story there.
Yeah,
That's the word I was looking for. Sirloin of beef,
that's my
which would
guy,
have
sirloin of beef. I like him.
yeah, he was eventually the name of the feature becomes Don Coyote. But you know, so there's that. Got Jibby Jones and Billy the Kid. You know, and some more slice of life stuff here, slice of life humor. Um,
What was Billy the Kid? Is he like a Dennis the Menace type?
I don't really know because hmm,
That's fine. That's fine. Keep going.
okay. Sagebrush and Cactus, which would eventually become Cal and Alec. Uh, Peter and Holaan. It's kind of a Western adventure series there. Ray and Gale on the trail of life's adventures. It's like kind of like a. And some of these didn't really. Some of these features, of course, didn't last too long. And over, Brian, we're still in 1936 here, but as we go over the next like couple of years from 36 to 38, some of these books will start to shrink a bit in terms of, how I showed you there was like 27 stories in an 80-page book there, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes how we see it 22 stories in a 32-page book. Well, you'll start seeing some like um, you'll start seeing that over the next couple of years here, kind of shrink down a little bit. J. Worthington Blimp Esquire by Sheldon Meyer. Now, Sheldon Meyer, probably his most famous character that he created, and you probably heard me talking about this with Tug a while back, was Squibbly Giblet and the Golden Age Red Tornado.
I don't remember hearing that.
It was a while ago,
Okay.
so yeah, but I'm just kind of going through showing you at least the artwork here, just because 1720 on the black. So this is a gambling one. This
The
is like
gambling one. Yeah.
Gambler Adventure.
Seems like someone's always pulling a gun on someone in this strip. Oh, they didn't this time.
Yeah, and that was the only story that I think, like 1720 on the black. That was like the only full story. I think they did start a second story, but then it kind of just got canceled, which you would
Okay.
see a lot of at this point, being in the midst of the depression. But stories didn't like pick up as much. Here's Dickie Duck here, and all black and white. Mystery of Gold Pieces.
Look at that. Just a regular text story right in the middle of the comic. That's cool.
Well, and I told you before that that's how they did it back in those days. That a lot of these comics back in this time period were, of course, were more like what we know of in highlights today, except this had
Mm-hmm.
more obviously comic stories in it, comic style stories, whereas highlight did have more. But when you look at the highlight magazines, they'd have like text stories, they'd have some comics, they'd have some picture stories, In other words, it
Mm-hmm.
would be part text and part picture. A bookshelf here. Um, I think it's Chico Chaco again.
I can hardly see anything. Like I said, this is my old backup pair of readers. This is the only pair of readers I have left since I just left my last pair at my kids.
Oh, you can't even see the picture?
Not really. I mean, I can see the picture, but I can't read anything
Yeah,
without good readers.
yeah. Well, again, I'm just giving you kind of. I'll probably go more into some of the stories and like famous funnies and stuff. Just, but I wanted to try to just show you like some of the examples of the different type. I mean, you see how these were true anthologies back in this time period where you had a where I think new comics did have a little bit more emphasis on the humor side, but you did have some like action adventure type. There's King Bozo, Guy Hoots, um, Repo Soup. The circus is coming. Luke McGuire, Court Chuckles. Again, more in this one. I think you did Cartoon Corner, which I think is a um, how to type of drawing one. Sarah Lou Sunshine, Wing Walker by Thor. Wing Walker. Here's another aviator type. Now this is all in black and white here. Can you see the pictures there?
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see the pictures. And like I can read "Look Out." You see that big font, but I can't read much more.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm looking right now at this right here. I mean that looks pretty cool just to look at. I mean, even if you don't get into reading but look at the artwork and look at the picture drawing and the quality and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Oh, there was even another Beanie, which I'd imagine is another kind of slice of life humor one. Magic, hobbies, radio dialer. It's some more text. Freddie Bell, he means well. Needles, The Strange Adventures of Mr. Another Sheldon Meyer creation there. Ah, rats! You see that over there? Um,
See, fooey.
yeah. Castaway Island. I guess that's more of a like naval adventure type, seafaring adventure type.
Where's Wilson?
Huh?
Where's Wilson? Remember the
Where's
volleyball
Will?
from Castaway with Tom Hanks?
Oh, okay. Well, couldn't tell. Let's see. Dear Old Dad, Licorice, or a couple others. Um, Captain Spinnaker, another naval one. Pickle complete. This might be more humor than adventure. Like the Vikings. And here's an interesting one. Now this is another Siegel Schuster creation here.
Okay.
Federal Men. This is basically about. So the main character is named Steve Carson. He's a federal agent. I'm gonna actually. This is actually one I did want to try to read. Just kind of give you guys a pretty good idea here. If I can font big enough to, where I could actually read it. And I'm already up to 400, and no, I guess not. Oh well. I mean, I've read the synopses on these before. They're pretty interesting. But and this is a four pager. I was gonna try to read this one, but the print's just gonna be too small to. Well, I guess it is because this is page 3, this is page 4 of it. Yeah. So basically, so that's new comics right there. That was just to give you kind of an idea of what that all looked like. And now what we'll do here. But we'll get back to it. Rather than just backtracking the whole thing, I'll just do it like this. And then of course we have famous funnies here. And this is one of the ones that's like all reprints right here. This came out. This when approximate on sale date was the 15th of February, 1936. It's 20th issue of famous funnies from the Eastern Color printing company. So being short and form Eastern Color. Another 64-page book, and again here are a whole bunch of like the nuclear reprints. You got Joe Palooka there, Alley Oop, Buck Rogers, um, Clement Tubby, Ned Brant, um, Jane Arden, and Lena Pry, Bungle Family, and Dixie Doo. Now, what I can also tell you about this too is that initially a lot of these stories were coming from the news. These they were reprinting these stories from the comic strips in the paper. But after a while, as they would maneuver around between comic books, they would actually start publishing original stories in the comic books with these characters. I know, like for example, I think Dixie Dugan and Joe Palooka, as well as Baynard and Lena Fry, would actually become regular features with newer material in feature funnies a few years after this for Quality Comics. But let's go ahead and go take a look through Famous Funnies number 20, and I'll try to read some of those off. Let's see. We at time wise here. So, okay. Wow, let's see here. Coined the term far left Nazis a ways back. Got Jeremy H2U's at one point. Okay. So, well, we got 5 people in here now, so that's good. Let's see. And we're at the 40-minute mark already. Wow. So, anyways, back to this. So, so now let me see. Oh, what was that noise?
My chair squeaking.
Let's see now. Yeah. Let me see here. There we go. Famous funnies right there. We're up to now. Remember, I told you Famous Funnies is probably one like July of 1934. I guess was a cover date from when it first came out, and of course, as you see up there, Famous Funnies went like at least 280 issues. It was a long running comic
Yeah,
book.
a lot of them.
So we're looking for issue 20 here. So this was issue 20. this is a milestone issue. So go to match Apple marry a gripping true to life story of an adorable old lady. Continuing, Boots, Out Our Way, Captain Easy, our boarding house, Buck Rogers, Dan Dunn, Joe Palooka, Jane Arden, and many more. So I think that guy, that little guy down there, I think that's one of the Bungles, George Bungle, right there. Nation's Comic Monthly. So, am I reading that right? That cursive's a little tricky. Buddy and Fatty.
And that's what it looks like, Buddy and Fatty.
Yeah.
I guess almost like Buddy, like with two D's, like, hey, buddy, hey,
But
pal.
instead, they have it like two goofy
Yeah,
gags here. Oh, let's see.
this Civ Weeks.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of a good voice to use for it.
Sorry.
Um, this sieve leaks. Oh my gosh! You weigh 220 pounds? No, you're standing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Playing a
see.
trick on him.
I never saw that lemur before. Lady, I've come to fix your pipes. Ah, you know why I'm laughing at that? That thing?
Because fixing her pipes, meaning like a set of pipes, like for singing.
Well, yeah, that's basically where I was going with it. He's probably thinking pipes as in like the pipe work in your house, like your toilet
Mm-hmm.
sinks and all
Right,
that.
he's got
But
a
she's
wrench and a
singing,
blowtorch.
so I'm just thinking somebody walking in on somebody singing and saying they're gonna fix your pipes. I mean, look at her facial expression there. It's like look at her eyes. It's almost like
Mm-hmm.
what? Uh-oh. So goofy gags there. Fisher's history of boxing. Um, and then you got the Joe Palooka story here, of course. Um, so let's see. Early in the early in the 1920s, there arrived in this country via the steerage route, a great shadow fellow named Luis Angel Firpo. Okay, so when they're saying shadow, dude, they're probably meaning like Hispanic or because of his darker skin. What's your profession? No sabe, senor. He started showing um, at the small local. He started showing at the small local clubs around New York, and soon became known as a terrific puncher. Say, Al, put that put that Furpo in again. The crowd'll love it. Okay, Zeltner. After a series of 10 consecutive knockouts, the the shaggy gentleman caught the attention of the astute Ricard. Never, never, never seed anybody like him. Looks like one of them um, bulls Donna in the Argentine. I'll tell you, Francis, to go to work on it. And we'll take a little bit of a look at Joe Palooka here. Um, this is see, see, this is what I always wanted to. Wait till I tell the mugs back. Okay. This this is what I this is what I wanted too. Wait till I tell the mugs back home that we played at St. Andrews. Um, I wish. Let's see. I wish it. I wish we could have our foursome. This is where golf started. It's where every golfer hopes to play someday. I can't wait. Oh boy. Um, give me, give me 2 dozen of them dollar balls. You know, Scotsman. It can see. I can see that. No, we're Americans. This is Mr. Walsh, and my name's Palooka. Joe's actually the one in the dark. Okay. Really, Joe Palooka? Well, sir, 'tis a pleasure. Would would ye like to take the a partner? I'm sure Mister um, McHammer would be glad to have to take point out the famous holes that ye. Let's see. Sure. Okay. Sure. That'll be swell. But wait a minute. My gosh, he must be 100 years old. He 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 won't hold you up, gentlemen. He's a Bonnie Gip golfer. He was club champion in 1862. I'm getting it. Okay, only I wish ya had some guy in our class to play with us. Um,
Lito just dropped in, said hi to
hey,
everyone.
Lito. Yeah, I'm reading through. Hey, sup? Yeah, not much. We're just going through this comic from 1936. Famous funnies a little bit here, y'all. Yep. So, trying to do the voices best I can here. Um, you slice that sir. Ye should keep your left wrist around more. Get get that. He's gonna tell me how to do it. You're up next, Mister Mac Warder. For gracious, uh, for gracious sake, he out he outdrives me. He'll get 300 yards on that. Amne doing Amne's doing so good. Um, my rheumatisms, um, my rheumatisms bothering me bit a bit. Have um had it for 50 years. And for those of you who don't know what rheumatism is, that's just a fancy name for arthritis, by the way.
We've got another friend joining us here, Mike. Anon just said hi.
Hey, Anon.
Good to see you, Anon.
Anonymity.
I can't say that.
Hey, just got off driving home. Yep. Hey, back go to Mike. I'll be on, but if I'm quiet, it's because I'm driving to work. Yeah, that's fine, Leto. I'm just, hopefully, I'm giving, I'm trying to do some good voices here as I'm reading through the stories here, just to give you guys a kind of a sampling of what was being written back in the 30s here. See, and then ATC saying hi to Anon as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, basically just a lot of what I'd like to do with these is give you guys a sample of what was being like written and drawn back in these days as compared to like what's being written and drawn now, you know. Because some of this stuff just looks and sounds pretty cool. I mean, yeah, some of it you'd have a whole bunch of SJWs banging on it, but it's kind of nice to go back to these simpler times and just look at this stuff. Joe Palooka, because of the way he talks, probably wouldn't be considered all that bright here, but he's probably a lot smarter than most people. Probably a lot smarter than most people today. Looks like we're up to 7 people now. I just so that's good. So, anyways, back to the story then here.
Hello,
Um,
everyone.
let's see. What does the doctor what does the doctor say? I've never seen the doctor. His charge is his charge is too much. What's a shilling? What's a shilling for a visit? Wants a shilling for a visit. For gosh, for gosh sake, he's been a full hour looking for his ball in the rough. Oh well, we ain't in no hurry. Um, I di- I dinna I dinna want it to lose it. It is a new one. Have have only been using it for about 5 years. He's saying it's a new one after only using it for 5 years, huh? This is too much. Where's my flask? Will ya have a nip? Say, you drank the whole thing. Dinna ya have another bottle, Mon? Ya said take a nip, and that's all a wee bottle, um, like thought holds. Uh, why just why just smash your clubs, Nobby? and let's see, and you forgot to count about 10 misses because because when a geezer 95 years old gets a 74 and I can't break 100, I'm through playing golf. Ah, go duck your head. Yeah.
That was rough, Mike, because they're writing in their Scottish accents, or the rough English that they speak. So I can, that was tough.
Yeah, but I can do it, Scott. It's just for me, I should have better identified beforehand before picking how I was going to do the voices. I should have been a little bit better at figuring out like because obviously, okay, so obviously the guy in the lighter colored jacket and plaid here is the trainer, so he's a little bit older. Okay, and then
Mm-hmm.
Joe is the taller guy with the dark the black, and then and you see that too? In the car, he's got a black jacket on, but once they get here, it's blue.
Yeah,
So that's
little
kind of interesting.
that's a little continuity issue on their end there.
Uh huh.
So you see, toys just threw out a nice comment there directed at you.
All right. Well, let me take a look at it. Hey, Mike. Is it okay if I put you in my recommended channels section on my? Sure. I hey, any way to get more people in here that and of course, as always, guys, I always appreciate the likes and the shares as well. And if you want to put me in your recommendation channel, toys, that's fine. Maybe people will drop by and we'll look up some of this stuff and have a ball with it. So thank you. Anyways, let's move on to let's see the Adventures of Jabby here. Here's an ad for a bicycle. Boys get this deluxe model bicycle.
Look
Now,
how cool that bike is, yo! Look at that bike. That's dope.
uh huh. Now think about it. Now this of course would fall short on today's kids, but back in the 30s, that probably was something to see. That was probably you
Oh
probably had a
yeah,
lot of kids across America who would just have loved a bike like that
love that bike.
because
That's I,
go ahead.
I was going to say there's plenty of Gen Xers and people around our age that can look at something like that and go, "That's pretty." But today's kids, yeah, they wouldn't understand something like that.
Yeah, because basically they've been taught, do everything inside. I still do see some skateboarders, but as compared to when I was a kid, you don't see a lot, you don't really see a lot of kids out playing. And I'm even talking even before the whole bit with the pandemic too.
Correct,
You
correct.
know,
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Anon just made a comment there saying roughly backing up what we just said.
do today's kids even play outside anymore? Yeah,
I don't
I
think
don't
they
see a lot of
do.
them. Yeah,
Mm-mm, they don't.
yeah, I mean, I see skateboard now, like real young. I do see like some parents will take like real young kids out for walks, like around my neighborhood and stuff. I'm talking about like preschool age to early school age, but you don't see a lot of like pre-adolescent or adolescents out too much. The only ones you do see are the ones who are like skateboarders.
Yeah, and there's quite a few kids like the scooters. I mean, when the Razor came around in the '90s, that jumped scooters back up, and so like a lot of kids like their scooters.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So I guess this one's a bit more of a pictorial comic, but look at that.
Hmm.
Maybe Jabby's dog there. A little
I think
humor.
so. Yeah.
Let's get into a huddle. Here's of course another. Oh, this kind of looks more like a letters column right here. And they had these in the comics back in these days too. Um, they, like I think it was more in the 40s, but they would start having letter columns. You know what a letter column is, right?
Hmm.
It's a page of just like letters to the writers, letters to the editors, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember. Like, actually, okay. Now that I think about it, I read a lot of Mad magazine when I was a kid. I loved Mad. I had a
Mm-hmm.
subscription to that when I was really young. And the first page after their contents or their index
Table of contents, yeah,
was they had like two full pages of letters, and they were always funny. I always read the letters.
yeah. Here's out our way, the Willets. And again, I'm not going to try to read every story. I'll pick a few here. I'll pick a story here and there. Just here's Alley Oop. Um, Denny's family album, Monsters of the Prehistoric Past, Pterodon, um, the Great Pterodactyl, um, with a wing spread of. Oh, here's another learn another little learning column here with a wing spread of over 20 feet. These dragons of the air were undoubtedly the largest flying creatures in the world um, has ever known. They were not birds in any sense. They were flying lizards. So here's a classic right here. Alley oop, alley oop, alley oop. I thought I'd die laughing at old Guz the way he tore up that tree. It served him right for for trying to put us on the spot. So, so you tell Marvel's got my royal husband treed by a dinosaur. Did ya? Did ya? Well, it ain't so funny 'cause you're gone back to get him out. Moron, don't hand me no guff, you banana face hyenas. And so off through the jungle they go. The Queen Fori, the Queen Fori and Alley Oop astride um, Dunny the dinosaur. Dunny the dinosaur. There's the king, your highness. How can we get him out of how can we get him out of that tree? Wait until wait until I get down and I'll tell you how. Now, you two heroes, ride your lizard and drive that thing away. And you're gonna like it. Get me? Now scram! Two evils beset us, but the monster's more liable to give us a break. I guess you're right. Well, here we go. Giddy up, Denny. Go get him. Shoo! Get away from it. Excuse me when I gotta go off screen again. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
I hope you. Oops! Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Sorry about that. I just. I gotta remember what I did there. Okay. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong thing there. I gotta go off camera for just a quick moment here.
It's all right.
I hope you guys have been enjoying my readings of these.
Oh yeah.
Trying to figure out the best voices for them. Shoo! Get away from that tree, you you big, snaggletooth goot. Goot, beat it. Un shoo. Uh-oh. It's turning on us. Now we're in for it. Ha! By the time those two boobs shake that dinosaur,
Boobs. Hee hee.
that Tyrannosaurus, they'll know better to fool. Oh, oops! I didn't realize that was the lady there. I'll try again here. Ha! By the time those two boobs shake that
Thank
Tyrannosaurus,
you.
they'll know better than to fool my husband. To fool my husband. I know it's kind of hard to find where the because you don't always see the little tail that goes with those little word bubbles sometimes. Come on down, darling. You're not hurt, are you? I'm okay, Pit. I wasn't even scared. You're a fine king. You are the idea of a man in your position. Letting a pair of hairy faced, shyster minded half wits take you for a ride.
Hey, Mike. Let me just interrupt you for a second and say, first of all, thank you, Toys, for that nice compliment there. And yeah, I got my hair cut today, and it had been a long time. If you guys saw me before, it was kind of long and icky. So I noticed that, and I told her like not to touch this at all. Just do the short, and I want it to stick out. And I was telling Mike earlier that I just came back from seeing my kids, so I had it's all puffed out and everything. Thanks for noticing. Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, that is a cool look for you there, Backo. Kind of having the
Here.
short hair up top and then the big side stash there.
Yeah, it's
On
goofy.
the
It's
face.
goofy, but I like it.
It's
And
still a
then
cool look.
thanks. And Anon, what kind of barbecue are you having? Always got to ask Anon what he's eating because he's always eating something good.
Yeah, well, this is his dinner time. He has a pretty late
Always.
dinner time.
I know. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Nipper, which is another kind of, but I think kind of a slice of life one. You know, now this one might be a bit kind of like the mischievous kid type you'd find with like a Dennis the Menace or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And here's footprints in the sand of time. Uh, Captain Easy by Roy Crane. Captain Easy, Soldier of Fortune.
That's a bummer, toys.
Let's see. Oh wow, we're already over the hour mark. Shaved my beard off, and my wife got mad. Slept on the couch. Yeah, sometimes my sister will like get on me because I'm one of those who's kind of an all or nothing type when it comes to my hair. It's like I'll let my hair like grow out, and then when I start getting tired of eating my own beard, I'll just I'll just just have it all shaved off,
Mm-hmm.
kind of with all or nothing. That's just for me, it's the most practical way of doing it. Not really a big style kind of guy.
I used to be pre-COVID. I used to go in and I had a gal, you know, my personal hairdresser, and she, you know, I'd come in and I'd comb it all down and put conditioner in there. She would like trim it certain lengths, and now it hasn't had any care for 6 months, and it's lonely. But I also figured like you may as well just keep it growing like longer and longer.
Well, when I've gone by your YouTube channel there, back I've
Mm-hmm.
seen in some of your videos there, you pretty much have the look you have now on
But a
some of
lot
your
shorter.
videos.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when I went to Colorado, that was from last year, so I was just starting to do this. Yeah.
There's Herky, another kind of slice of life one. Seaweed Sam.
Oh, that sounds delicious, Anon. He's talking about his barbecue recipe there, Mike. It looks fabulous.
Homemade recipe, ground beef, green and red peppers, onion, garlic, 1.5 cups of ketchup, some brown sugar, um, some chili pepper, dry mustard, add red pepper flakes. Yeah, that does sound pretty interesting. If it wasn't the case that we all lived so far away from each other, wouldn't it be fun if we all got together and maybe Anon made all that
At
for
a
us?
barbecue night, yeah. I love the Worcestershire. That sounds great.
Yeah, salt and pepper. Yeah.
Thanks for saying
That
that, toys.
that goat
Um,
got 10 years younger with that haircut. Yeah,
my kids noticed it. They said they right away like, "Ooh, dad, the haircut looks good." So it's like, okay, I won't go long mountain man anymore.
yeah. I think I look younger when I get my haircut. Well, you guys remember when I got my haircut? What was it, like a month or so ago? A couple
Yeah,
months ago.
yeah, you shaved it off.
Yeah, and look how much it's grown back since.
You are a hairy dude. I mean, or hairy is in like you got a full head of hair, and I'm very jealous of that.
You're not the only one back goat. My dad has been jealous of me for years.
Is that right? Well, okay.
Yeah.
You can see why. But then again, as you can see, I've never had a problem with the facial hair. And my son, which as you know, he's a rookie cop. He's growing this thick, huge mustache right now. It's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
proud of the boy.
Well, he probably will need some facial hair because unless they end up saying that he looks too young and they have to put him in some kind of undercover program that goes into high schools, a la
No,
21 Jump Street.
no, he's on West. Yeah, that'd be cool. But he's on West St. Paul. That's there's only 19 officers. He's the 19th. So like it's a really small department, even though it's right next door to St. Paul, which is huge.
Yeah. So let's see. Magic. Here's another how-to kind of section here. Magic made easy. Frog Pond Fairy. So some some anthromo,
Po,
anthropomorphic characters
perfect,
here.
perfect.
I know the word. It's just I gotta slow down sometimes because it's such a long word.
It's a tricky
I
one.
know the
Yep.
word because they apply it to. That's basically what like Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera and all those cartoons are
True. Yep.
Hairbreadth Harry here, High Gear Homer. See, oh, here's a Buck Rogers story. And let's see.
Wow, Buck Rogers looking a little overly rainbow flag waving type of. I don't know how to say that without being a jerk, but they're looking a little fruity up there on that top frame.
Oh, he's probably wrestling, but it's a legit wrestle, not.
Sure, yeah, I get what you're saying. That's true.
Albeit, I think I told you guys before that one of the things that brought about the Comics Code Authority was Frederick Worthen's belief that Batman and Robin were engaged in quote unquote the fruity affairs.
Mm-hmm.
Buck Rogers of the 25th century.
Man, I loved that show from the 70s with Gil Gerard, Buck Rogers in the 25th century, and um, what's her name? Aaron. No,
Aaron Gray.
Aaron Gray. Oh, Colonel Deering. Man, I loved her.
Oof. Yeah, and she would, of course, a few years after that, would go on to be on Silver Spoons.
Mm-hmm. That was a popular show. Silver Spoons was really popular back in our day. Yeah.
Now, of course, Buck Rogers here. You notice it was 4 pages. It's like a space adventure. So you could even tell back in the 30s they had some kind of idea. Granted, it wasn't accurate as we look back on it, but look at what they thought of what space age was like. I mean, think about Granted, I didn't decide not to read this one, but look at what their impression of what the space age was going to be like here.
Yeah, but you remember that. I know this is a comic, and what year are we on? We're on 1936, right?
Yeah.
So the very
still
first
30 years before we went into space. Yeah, I know.
Sure, but the very first Buck Rogers serials, as far as films, black and white films, they were the first one to do that. Even though it's rockets on strings with the firecracker coming out the back, and they made the horrible noise. They were the first ones really doing that. I don't think anyone else did that before them, really. And so, like, that's kind of everyone's idea for going out into outer space would be the old Buck Rogers serials, in my opinion.
Yeah. And here's the Nabs meet the world's laziest man. And try. I already know we're already coming up.
Hey, look.
I already know we're coming up on an hour and a half, so that's why I'm going to try to get through these a little quicker here.
See that guy's name, Mike?
Huh?
That guy's name. Go back down under the nebs. Who's that right there?
Simp Odell.
You know how simp is a big thing these days. People don't be a simp.
Yeah. Simp's got a lot to learn about Bonka. But I think what you have to remember too, the use of the term simp back in this day, back in 36, is different than the way we use it now.
Agreed. It's not quite the same.
Say, simp, how about this check on the 10th National Bank for $10 you gave me? What about it? Look at it. Comes back stamped NSF. NSF? What's that mean? NSF, not sufficient funds. A swell kind of a check to give a guy. Again, remember, this is the Depression, so a lot of people were probably writing out NSF checks.
I think so.
Yeah. Not sufficient funds? Ho, 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 is that a laugh? Why, that's ridiculous. Um, Come on, you'll have to laugh too. Look, look it. You mean to say an institution like that ain't got sufficient funds for a $10 check? Who are you kidding? Hence why he's called Simp.
Simpleton.
Right. How can they get so much dumbness in one head?
That's funny.
That one was a pretty good read there.
That is a good one. Good old simp.
That's a good laugh to have. See, yeah. See, that's what is in a way we could say that the Simps of today are that too, are that simple minded.
Good luck, Anon. Do us proud.
I love the old school futuristic concepts. Yep. Uh-huh. Effem- oh, I think he came up with that word that you were looking. Word that
I
you
was,
were looking for.
yeah,
Effeminate.
yeah. Yep.
You handsome bastards. I really wish I could let you all try this. I love it so much. Well, thank you. Um, well, looks like I'm going to have some company for a bit. I'll be listening, gentlemen.
It
Listening in,
wouldn't
gentlemen.
wouldn't be Friday night if without Anon entertaining some company.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need luck. Okay, that's
All right,
awesome.
so back to this then. Let's see. Boots. Let's see.
Look at that old airplane,
Mm-hmm.
the radial engine.
Mm-hmm. It does kind of look like slice of life one. And here's second page of that.
Mm-hmm.
Highlights of history. Jolly geography. Above the crowd by Spooky Ellen. A Bunting by Royal Williams. Okay, so I guess it is Buddy and Fatty. Look right there,
Yeah,
Fabio.
yeah. Just like you thought. Yep.
At least they wrote it a little bit better this time. They're
Yeah.
in cursive like that.
It's funny though. It is funny to see Buddy like that, and I don't think it means like a butt. Like they didn't call people's rear ends butts back in the 30s, did they? I think that means like buddy, like a friend.
Well, usually though, when we think of that word buddy, usually it's two D's, not two T's.
Correct, correct. So that's what
But
where I'm
but
confused.
think about it though. They may have called them butts back then. Because Buddy and Fatty, that would be a very comical line right there. Because big butt, big gut.
That's true. That's a good point. I like it.
Apple Mary here. It's fun to see how they use language and stuff. And here's more of the Apple Mary story. Napoleon. And this one I don't. I
What
think
the
this one.
hell is that?
What
Is that a dude in a cat suit?
could be?
It is because you
He's
can see his
walking like
hand.
he's.
You can see his hands.
Oh, go back here. Look here. So it looks like somebody's buying it.
Yeah.
Watch me slip on a cat costume and scare the unen daylights out of that pooch over there. Look at the dog right there. It's like facially, he almost reminds me of Droopy a little bit there.
A little bit, yeah. Droopy, who is an exact likeness of Susan Wojcicki
Wojciechowski, what are you talking about?
from YouTube. YouTube Susan looks exactly like
Uh,
Droopy. I hate her. Her chin goes from here down the middle of her chest, like it's a
Hold on.
quadruple chin.
Say that again. Show that again, because I was on another page there.
I was just saying, Susan. I hate Susan like everyone else does. Everyone with a brain hates Susan. She's horrible, and she looks like Droopy. Her chin goes from here down to there, and she's not an overly obese woman. I'm like, how do you have a quadruple chin at that size? It's
Well,
she's
some people just do, and it's not always because they're fat. Some people just their genetics just happen to cause that.
and then her face. She's never smiles. She's just like she looks like Droopy. Everyone pass that along.
Anon says he doesn't need luck. Then 9 months later, oh boy,
That's
yeah,
funny.
that would be troubling for a single guy like him. If that were to happen. And then you see the dog right there, like turning back on him. Start barking. Look at him run.
Yeah, that wasn't real smart of him to do that.
And then he get better humor him, Bill. He thinks he's a cat. I'll bring him down with this milk.
Should have brought him down with a tranquilizer gun. Ooh.
Dude really showed how much of a brain surgeon he is, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe the guy himself is Napoleon, but
I think so, yeah.
see, um, Smatter Pap, the Nut Brothers, Our Boarding House, Freckles and his friends.
Go up to This Curious World. What was that? Just something on like those are like no, it's a woodchuck, okay, or groundhog. Okay.
Yeah.
We have prairie
Woodchucks
dogs
are
out here
ground.
in Minnesota, and their prairie dogs are horrible. You kill them whenever you see them. Or flicker tails, we
Somebody's
call them.
dog. Mm-hmm. Backseat driver, which we've seen before. Fly into fame. I'm just kind of breezing through these a little bit just to show you that again the different types of different artwork, different types of stories here. Probably figure out what the stories are just by without reading them, just by looking at them.
You notice that's a theme too, Mike. That a lot of these people like drawing the flashy airplanes of the 30s. I mean, think how young aviation was, and the fact that they were just starting to get streamlined and fast and cool. I think that was their modern technology showing
Well,
those airplanes.
yeah. Well, I can tell you this for a fact from my studies on like DC history. You do have a lot of there were, and I've mentioned a number of these guys. There were a number. You did have a number of like aviator heroes.
Mhm.
We've already seen Wing Brady and Wing Walker. And within the next few years, as we look further into this, you'll also get Hop Harrigan, um, Three Aces. You know, even years later, there was in when war comics started becoming popular. I think in the 50s or so, 50s or 60s, you'd have one of the main you'd have Enemy Ace and Enemy Ace, and you'd have Johnny Cloud, who also has, but more in like the military sense, playing the same fun. Here's another activities page here. See that? That must have been
Love
fun
it.
too. You get to read your comics, and then you get a chance to like do some of these little
I could figure
activities
out
too.
this crossword in 30 seconds.
To be ill, sick,
Ale.
yeah, yeah. Um, wrath probably met. Well, I guess let's see, one across. Okay, to be ill.
Ant.
Let's see, two.
Ant. Light. 5 is Confederate Army General would be Lee. Yeah.
Yeah.
So L. So yeah. Okay.
I mean,
So
think
ant.
about this. This would have been fun stuff to do. You know, with reading your tongue. Let's see. Mescal Ike, Ollie of the movies.
Mezcal Ike, huh? He
Yeah.
likes that mezcal, does he? You
Okay,
know, it's a
you probably obviously know more about what that means than I do.
well, mezcal is a Mexican tequila, very
Ah,
famous Mexican tequila
Ollie
from
of the
province.
Ollie,
Yeah,
yeah, Ollie of the movies here. Frog Pond Ferry again. Flight. Ned Brandt of Carter. I think is another kind of slice of life one. I think this one's about like a high schooler, basically high school slice of life type right here. I think or college. Um, Flapper Fanny. Of course, this is based more on the obviously clothes design of the time. Salesman Sam.
but you know what's funny about that is you're a little bit old school. You're not showing your stuffiness, but you're showing you're behind the times by putting Flapper Annie when that's already 10 years past at this point, as far as what was popular. In fact, even probably 12 or 14. Flappers is something with like 1922.
Yeah, the
Honestly,
flappers were part. The flappers were the. As I understand it, were the fashions of the 20s,
yes, very much so.
or
The
Roaring
Roaring
20s.
Twenties, the Roaring Twenties. Yes,
With
great,
but
great
but but
Gatsby.
but get this. Look at kind of the variety you see in the storytelling here, in the art, the storytelling and the types of stuff they touch upon here in these anthologies, right? You
Mm-hmm.
you have Holly of Hollywood here. I mean, this would have been for some interesting reading back in the day because
Oh yeah.
you'd have different stories from different, as strange as it seems, the John Hicks scrapbook. I mean, look at the variety you have in terms of what you can read. Happy Days.
Hey Mike, when maybe you just want to bang through the rest of these quick. We can get about maybe 15 minutes left to cover the Nietzsche
Oh,
history
yeah.
because you're at 145.
All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'll probably here's Jane Art. Yeah, I probably won't be able to read any more than because I was thinking that we are like the only thing is the Jane Arden and Lena Pry stuff and some of the like Dan Dunn Secret Operative 40. Dan Dunn's Secret Operative 48. This is probably a spy story.
He's a spy guy.
Yeah. Little Brother. And what's kind of funny about Little Brother here is that a side piece with the squibbly giblet I was telling you about earlier, called
Mm-hmm.
Little Brother, with two D's.
Okay.
Like somebody probably mispronounces a TH.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Bungle family. Green Oddities.
That's cool.
Um, Good Deed Dodie, and we've seen her. Here's Dixie Dugan again, because we've read some of her stuff. Now, Dixie Dugan, from what I read, is like basically a wannabe showgirl. She would go out and try to become like a Broadway actress and all that. All right, I think that's it right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go back real quick. I'll just kind of see that last. And what's kind of bad about that too is I know that with Popular Comics, they had the Dick Tracy story in it. It's going to try to again, these are reprints too. And you have Dick Tracy in there. Skippy, always the little orphan Annie. Again, another like now. Again, this a lot of, Popular Comics and Famous Funnies were obviously starting out as and one of these days we'll go through Popular Comics and look through all those, but I won't right now because, as you said, we're getting pretty short on time there.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you how much there is to cover with that when you're looking back at that stuff and trying to get as much information out there as possible.
A lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw when I last was on Tug's stream, but I was like pointing out some of the stuff we were commenting on from last Friday. I think it was this past Monday, where he last streamed, and I was kind of commenting on. I super chatted him a couple of little tidbits from what we talked about last week. Said, "Well, I have to look up Popular Comics." If they asked, I never kissed her because I'm plotting on her sister, but they hating on a Mister because I'm naked playing Twister. Okay, okay. Let's see now. Laugh out loud and on sisters can be the best. When they're jealous, action. Yeah, okay. As you were saying, yeah, we're at an hour 48. So I think I'll start wrapping it up then. I do only have only couple of uh, well, I guess technically three, but two of them kind of go together. But I was able to find for this day in each history. So
Hit us
tell
with
me,
some
everybody,
history.
are you all ready for this day in each history?
History, 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 history.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that. Oh, okay. All right. So with today being Friday, November the 20th, 2020, let's take a look back on this day in each history. I just gotta remind myself a couple things, and then on the course front.
Did toys bounce out? There's only three left. I see Enon's here. Did toys leave? Bummer. I wanted to ask him where he went out with his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, that does sometimes seem to happen. Sometimes it just drops off like that for some reason. But
Hmm.
you know, hopefully one of these days I'll get like I'll consistently be getting double digits.
It'll
Um,
happen. It will happen.
yeah. So, anyways, so okay, 2010, and those two are from 1995. Okay, so without no further ado, let's take a look back on this day in Nietzsche history. So, first off, we're going to go back 25 years ago today to hit upon um, the Monday Night Wars. From so in um, first off in Richmond on this date 25 years ago from oh okay actually hit the wrong one. Well, in Macon, Georgia, WCW was hosting Monday Nitro, um, which in the main event saw Hulk Hogan um, battle Sting to a no contest. Among some of the other matches included Eddie Guerrero defeating Brian Pillman, Road Warrior Hawk defeating Big Bubba in one of the dark matches prior to the show. You saw Johnny B. Bad defend his WCW World Television title against Diamond Dallas Page, and then on the other show, Monday Night Raw, if I can get it get it correct this time. I actually meant to, as we head north from Macon to I believe it was Richmond, Virginia. Meet Virginia. I can't wait to meet Virginia. Yeah, yeah. So in the main event of um that show, Monday Night Raw from Richmond, Virginia, saw Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels fight to a no contest. He had a couple no contests there with Skip of the Bonnie Donnas and Savio Vega also, fighting to a no contest. And a dark match among the dark matches prior to the show included um, Bret Hart retaining um, the WWF Championship over the Undertaker via DQ. So on this date back in 1995, you had Raw happening in Richmond, Virginia, at the Richmond Coliseum, and then WCW Monday Nitro happening from Macon, Georgia. The Macon Coliseum in Macon, Georgia. So that being said as well, there. Um, well, so
Did you see I high fived you?
all in due time. I guess that won't let me down any further there. But anyways, so and then the last piece of niche history that we'll look at today, on this date in 2002, which was 18 years ago today, the 75th issue of Junior Life from DC Comics went on sale. On this date, story titled "Tragic Kingdom" by writer Joe Kelly. Um, that was what went on sale today in 2002. So that's all I have for this day in each history, guys, for today.
Very cool. Very cool. Man, that's crazy. 18 years. 2001, 9/11. I was on active duty in the Navy at the time. I was
Mm-hmm.
taking a break from my civilian job as a medic, and it's so crystal clear to me. It's something I'll never forget. I remember
Mm-hmm.
everything about it, but especially the feeling. It was man. It's hard to explain to kids. You can't explain it to kids or
Yeah.
people that didn't live through it.
Okay. Bat Goat, would you mind sticking around after I close up shop here for just a
Not a
couple
problem.
minutes?
Not a
Okay.
problem.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm sorry I couldn't get through all the comics. I hope to see you guys back here on Monday for
Do you, Mike? Do you see Leto's? Leto's
um,
got some more comments up there.
well, oh yeah, now I was able to. Okay. For whatever reason, it wasn't like I was clicking on. Now at work, by the way, high toys and anonymity. Okay, let's see. Shelf high five. Diamond Douse Page. Diamond Cutter. Shelf high five. Evening, Leto, and have a good one at work. Um, thanks. I'll need it. Um, I've seen it. Well, he said he's in Texas, so maybe they're not like doing the whole curfew thing for him because he, thanks for the show, guys.
Thanks, Woody. It's always good seeing you, brother.
Have a good one, everyone. Okay, so back on, I'm going to have you stick around because I, want to talk to you just a couple minutes. But,
No problem.
anyways, guys, thanks again for coming in. I hope to see you all back here on Monday when we'll get back to niche news and stuff. Also, just to give you guys a little heads up for next Friday, when we get into June, or I'm sorry, not June, when we get into March of 1936, three comics will be making their debuts, and it will also mark as a little preview treat here for you guys. Will also mark the comic book debut of Popeye.
Ooh, very cool.
We'll be looking at that. So hopefully I'll see all of you on Monday. Looks like Leto had one more thing to say. Good show. Good night, y'all. Good night. All right. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.